CTMX stock is up 51% here. Let me actually read this here. Cytum Therapeutics announces phase 1 expansion data for one of its drugs there, Versella M, in late-line metastatic colorectal cancer. Preliminary data as of January 16th, data cutoff from ongoing CTMX phase 1 study. So looks like it's getting some good data there. They also reported their earnings here. They had a 22-cent EPS that missed the 9-cent loss estimate. So that was actually a miss on the top and the bottom line. Sales missed the estimate as well. But good data from the trial seems to be carrying this higher as we hold higher here by 52%. A quick peek at the short interest on this one, 11.53% with 8 days to cover. So while it's not as high as AIRS that we just looked at, it actually is elevated here and could provide for some squeezy type action. 13, looking at the chart, looking at the data, looking at this thing really just kind of holding out here by VWAP. I mean, I kind of have a little bit of a trend line caused by the impulse moves. Maybe that gives us a target. But otherwise, what do you see here?
I get the sense that we could see this fade to 6.
Okay.
The reason I say that is because you have a large float of 163 million. This is the largest one that we looked at today. The earnings report, not particularly stellar, but it's a great update about all the company has going on in their pipeline, of which they have a lot of things going on, but they're all in phase 1 or preclinical. So there's a long ways to go for any of these to really actually make it to market. So that means that this company is going to be a cash-eating machine. But they do have a decent amount of cash runway for now. So I don't think that they're going to need to raise any capital. They do also have a bit of short interest here, about 11.5% with 8 days to cover. So we could see a little bit of squeezing happen here today. Right now, the price is trying to recapture the VWAP, and it may end up doing that. And I have a breakout spot of about 750, 755, right? It's one of those two areas. We've been getting resistance in that area this morning since we got this news. We've been rejected, and that rejected us down beneath VWAP. So if we do manage to recapture VWAP, I'd still be looking at that 750, 755 area as resistance. And if we break out, we can examine some higher areas there. Probably $8 would be the next big resistance area, maybe, probably 8. But if we can't get above VWAP, then I think we just end up fading to 6. There'll be some support coming at about the 65 EMA, I would imagine. Then once we get to that point, we can see what it's doing. But this is going to be a company that I don't have as much conviction in for upside, particularly because of that float and because it's going to be eating cash for a while.
Yeah. Okay. Really good breakdown there. Gives you a really good idea on CMTX. We'll see which direction we go. I also want to just highlight something that literally happened as you were speaking. I opted not to interrupt you because I was comparing two different charts here. But you'll notice that on the chart that I'm sharing, we have one of these phantom candles that really kind of broke us down and then really quickly got bought back up. 13, I guess I'd be curious what your broker shows, but my broker does not show this candle. It does not show this price action as happening. No. So what that means for the purpose of trading here is that this fair value gap that sits below here is still unmitigated. Top of this gap is 6. The bottom of this gap is 5. I'm not sure I would hold through the entire gap, but if we get back down here, to me, maybe, especially if we can hold like 560 or higher here, maybe this would be a potential bounce spot for CMTX. It's got a ways to fall before we get down there, so we'll see. Maybe it uses 679 as some support, but it's currently flirting with its VWAP. We've got a trend line above that actually represents a potential target for this one. We'll see what we get. We'll see what we get there, CMTX.